Cardiovascular system, it is controlled by neural mechanism, humoral mechanism, as well as the local control mechanism. Now, in the neural control mechanism, in the previous lecture, you have learned about the higher centers and the influence of the higher center over the heart as well as the blood vessel through the autonomic nervous system. Now, in this lecture, understand about the major afferents to the medullary control centers and its influence over the cardiovascular reflexes. Major cardiovascular reflex mechanism affecting the medullary control centers, they are baroreceptor reflex, chemoreceptor reflex, and the CNS ischemic response. So first of all, baroreceptor reflex mechanism. Now the baroreceptor, these are the mechanoreceptor or the pressure receptor, which are the stretch receptor located in the walls of the heart and the large blood vessels. They are extensively branched, knobby, coiled, and the intervened ends of the myelinated nerve fibers. As the name suggests, these are the receptor which senses the baro or the pressure. So they are stimulated by the distension of the structures in which they are located. So they discharge at an increased rate when the pressure in this structure rises. Baroreceptor, they can be classified on the basis of their function as well as the anatomical location. Now, first of all, the functional classification of the baroreceptor. On the basis of the function, baroreceptor, they can be classified as high pressure baroreceptor as well as the low pressure baroreceptor. As the name suggests, these are the baroreceptor, they sense increase in the pressure inside the vessel. And the high pressure baroreceptor, they are situated in the carotid sinus, aortic arch, wall of the left ventricle, root of the right subclavian artery, and the junction of the thyroid artery with the common carotid artery. Low pressure baroreceptor, they sense change in the volume. They are situated inside the atria, at the entrance of the great vessels inside the atria, as well as in the pulmonary trunk. On the basis of their anatomical position, baroreceptor, they can be classified as arterial baroreceptor and the cardiac baroreceptor. Arterial baroreceptor, as the name suggests, they are located in the wall of the arteries and they are situated in the adventitial layer inside the artery. Cardiac baroreceptor, they are present inside the heart and they are situated in the subendocardial layer. Now the cardiac baroreceptor, they can be further divided in the atrial receptor and the ventricular receptor. Atrial receptor, these are the atrial stretch receptor and the pulmonary venoatrial receptor. Atrial receptor, they sense change in the volume, and the ventricular receptor, they sense change in the pressure inside the cardiac chamber. Carotid baroreceptor, they are situated in the carotid sinus. Here we can see the carotid sinus. This is the initial dilated part of the internal carotid artery, and the aortic arch baroreceptor, they are located in the walls of the aorta. These are the high pressure baroreceptor and they sense change in the pressure inside the vessel. Carotid sinus baroreceptor, they are innervated by the carotid sinus nerve, also known as Herring's nerve, which is a branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve. All other baroreceptor like aortic arch baroreceptor, baroreceptor inside the subclavian artery, they are innervated by the vagus nerve. Now let's understand baroreceptor reflex. First of all, understand about the neural pathway of the baroreceptor reflex. Reflex is the involuntary response to the stimulation. Here in the baroreceptor reflex, it includes receptors, afferent nerves. Afferent nerves, they send sensory information to the higher centers and higher centers, they convey impulses via efferent nerves. In the baroreceptor reflex, receptors, they are situated in the carotid sinus and the aortic arch. These are the baroreceptors. Now the baroreceptor, they send sensory information via glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerve. Glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerve, they are also known as buffer nerves because they prevent sudden changes inside the blood pressure. Glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerve, they relay sensory information in the higher centers in the nucleus tractus solitarius. Here, this nerve they release neurotransmitter glutamate. Now the nucleus tractus solitarius it sends projection to the depressor area as well as the cardiac vagal centers. Now the depressor area it sends GABAergic neurons to the pressor areas. So it inhibits the pressor area activity, and because of that the sympathetic influence over the heart as well as the blood vessel it decreases. Now because of the increase in the activity of the cardiac vagal center, it increases the parasympathetic influence over the heart. So it decreases heart rate as well as the force of contraction. So when blood pressure increases, for example, when we change our posture from standing position to the supine position, so because of the sudden increase in the venous return, cardiac output increases, that increases blood pressure. So whenever blood pressure increases, it produces stretch on the carotid sinus. And because of the stretch on the carotid sinus, it causes activation of the baroreceptor. Now baroreceptor send this information in the form of the increased discharge through the glossopharyngeal as well as the vagus nerve. It relays this information to the nucleus tractus solitarius. Nucleus tractus solitarius it sends projection to the cardiac vagal center as well as the depressor areas. Now the depressor area of the vasomotor centers it inhibits the pressor area of the VMC, which decreases the sympathetic outflow. Now whenever sympathetic outflow decreases, it decreases the myocardial contractility, and because of the decrease in the vasomotor tone, it produces vasodilatation. Now the parasympathetic activity increases because of the increased activity of the cardiac vagal centers, and it decreases heart rate. So because of the decrease in the sympathetic activity and increase in the parasympathetic activity, it decreases cardiac output and blood pressure decreases. When we change our posture from the supine position to the standing position, it causes peripheral pooling of the blood. Peripheral pooling of the blood decreases the venous return, and decrease in the venous return decreases the cardiac output. Decrease in the cardiac output decreases the blood pressure. So whenever blood pressure decreases, it produces less stretch on the carotid sinus, and it causes less activation of the baroreceptors. So whenever baroreceptors they are not stimulated, then the discharge through the glossopharyngeal and vagus nerve to the higher center also decreases, and it produces less stimulation of the nucleus tractus solitarius. Now from the nucleus tractus solitarius, projections goes to the depressor area of the VMC as well as the cardiac vagal centers. So there is disinhibition of the depressor area of the VMC occurs, which causes more activation of the pressor area of the VMC. So the pressor area of the VMC it causes stimulation of the sympathetic outflow, which causes increase in the myocardial contractility and the vasoconstriction. Increase in the myocardial contractility increases cardiac output. Now inhibition of the cardiac vagal centers, it decreases activity of the vagus nerve. So heart rate increases because of the decrease in the vagal tone. So it increases cardiac output. So because of the increase in the cardiac output along with the vasoconstriction, it increases blood pressure. Now this mechanism is very important because when we change our posture from supine to the standing position, it decreases the cardiac output and the blood pressure, and because of that it decreases the blood flow to our vital organs like brain. Now this momentarily decrease in the blood flow can result in the loss of consciousness if it is sustained for a longer period of time. So because of the baroreceptor reflex, when we change our posture from the supine to the standing position, simultaneously sympathetic output increases and parasympathetic output decreases. Increase in the sympathetic output, it increases the contraction of the heart as well as the vasoconstriction, which increases the blood pressure. So normal blood flow to our brain is again restored. Now let's understand Response of carotid and the aortic baroreceptor to the change in the blood pressure. Here we can see the recording of the blood pressure and its relation with the discharge rate of the sinus nerve. So as we can see, the threshold of the baroreceptor is 60 mmHg, and whenever blood pressure increases above 16 mmHg, then along with that discharge rate of the sinus nerve also increases. Now baroreceptor the discharge impulses at the highest rate whenever blood pressure it reaches at the range of the 150 to 160 mmHg, and above that it reaches a plateau. So the range of the baroreceptor reflex is from 60 to 160 mmHg. This is the range where baroreceptor reflex is sensitive. Now let's understand what happens when bilateral occlusion of the common carotid arteries it is done at their origin. So here we can see the arterial pressure recording as well as the duration of the time. First of all, the recording of the normal pressure, recording of the pressure after the occlusion, as well as the recording of the blood pressure whenever occlusion it is released. So whenever common carotid artery at their origin they are occluded, it decreases the blood flow and the blood pressure inside the carotid sinus. So whenever pressure inside the carotid sinus decreases, it decreases the firing of the glossopharyngeal nerve. So there is less stimulation of the nucleus tractus solitarius occurs, and it causes disinhibition of the depressor area of the VMC, which increases the activity of the pressor area of the VMC as well as the sympathetic output to the heart as well as the blood pressure. So whenever common carotid arteries they are occluded at their origin, then it increases the sympathetic output, which increases the blood pressure. And whenever occlusion it is released, then again normal or the mean blood pressure it is achieved. In the second set of experiment, common carotid arteries they are clamped at their origin, and along with that bilateral vagotomy it is performed. So whenever common carotid arteries they are clamped, then it decreases the pressure inside the sinuses and it causes disinhibition of the pressure area of the VMC. Now along with that whenever bilateral vagotomy it is performed, then it abolishes the afferent impulses to the nucleus tractus solitarius and it causes disinhibition of the VMC. Now this type of the experimental induced hypertension it is known as neurogenic hypertension, and in this type of the hypertension blood pressure it becomes unstable and it rises up to 300 divided by 200 mmHg. Carotid sinus massage. Carotid sinus massage it is helpful maneuver to interrupt paroxysmal atrial tachycardia. Here we can see the site of the carotid sinus. So carotid sinus it is situated at the upper border of the thyroid cartilage and the medial to the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So whenever carotid sinus massage it is performed, then it increases pressure inside the carotid sinus. Increase pressure inside the carotid sinus, it stimulates baroreceptor reflex. So the baroreceptor reflex, it decreases the sympathetic output as well as increases the parasympathetic output to the heart as well as the blood vessel. So it produces vagus mediated slowing of the heart rate. And because of this, carotid sinus massage, it is helpful to interrupt paroxysmal atrial tachycardia. Baroreceptor reflex. It is helpful in the acute short-term regulation of the blood pressure, and it is not helpful in the long-term regulation of the blood pressure because of the baroreceptor resetting. Now let's understand about the baroreceptor resetting. Here we can see the recording of the pressure inside the carotid sinus with change in the systemic blood pressure. So this shows normal baroreceptor reflex. Now this dash blue line, it shows baroreceptor reflex in the experimental hypertensive animal. So whenever blood pressure it remains elevated for a longer duration of the time, then the baroreceptor reflex it reset to the newer higher value. So baroreceptor they reset themselves in 1 to 2 days to pressure they are exposed. So in the chronic hypertension, baroreceptor reset to the higher blood pressure, and that's why baroreceptor reflex it is not helpful for the long-term regulation of the blood pressure because of the baroreceptor resetting to the higher blood pressure. Physiological significance of baroreceptor reflex. So baroreceptor reflex, it is the first and foremost reflex for the regulation of the blood pressure. So whenever acute short-term blood pressure change occurs in our body, then the baroreceptor they sense the change in the pressure inside the carotid sinus, aortic arch as well as in the other baroreceptor, and they increase or decrease impulses to the nucleus tractus solitarius and the sympathetic output to the heart as well as the blood vessel. They change the blood pressure to maintain the tissue perfusion. So baroreceptor reflex, it is the first and foremost reflex for the regulation of the blood pressure. And it is the mechanism of the short-term regulation that can maintain change in the blood pressure. Now blood pressure it is maintained during the change in the posture in our body by the baroreceptor reflex. For example, when we change our posture from supine to the upright posture or from upright to the lying down posture, at this movement there is change in the venous return occurs. During these movements, baroreceptor reflex they adjust the cardiac output and the tissue perfusion. So baroreceptor reflex it is also helpful to achieve normal cardiac output and the tissue perfusion during the change in the posture. Baroreceptor reflex it is essential and the life saving in the acute hypotension and the hemorrhage. So whenever acute hypotension and the hemorrhage occurs, it decreases pressure inside the baroreceptors, which increases the sympathetic discharge from the pressure area in the VMC, which causes vasoconstriction and increase in the force of contraction of the heart, which increases cardiac output and the tissue perfusion in our body. So it is life saving in the acute hypotension and hemorrhage. So these are the physiological significance of the baroreceptor reflex. Baroreceptor reflex also explains the physiological basis of the Mary's law. Here we can see the photograph of scientist E.J. Mary. So E.J. Mary, he was the French physiologist who invented sphygmograph and demonstrated that the inverse relationship is present between the blood pressure and the heart rate. According to the Mary's law, heart rate is inversely proportional to the blood pressure. So whenever blood pressure increases, it increases pressure inside the carotid sinus, and because of the increase in the pressure inside the carotid sinus, baroreceptor reflex it is initiated, which decreases the sympathetic output of VMC and increase in the parasympathetic output through the cardiac vagal centers. So vagal mediated bradycardia occurs. So whenever blood pressure increases, it produces bradycardia, and whenever blood pressure decreases, it produces tachycardia, and this is known as Mary's law, and it can be explained by the baroreceptor reflex mechanism. So now we have learned about the arterial baroreceptor and the baroreceptor reflex. Now the cardiac baroreceptors, they are present inside the heart. They are located in the wall of the heart and they are present in the subendocardial region. All cardiac receptors, they are innervated by the vagus nerve. Cardiac baroreceptors, they are present in the atria as well as inside the ventricles. Cardiac baroreceptor, which are present in the atria, they are known as atrial stretch receptors. Atrial stretch receptors, they are present in the wall of the atria and they are also known as low pressure receptor because they sense change in the volume, not the change in the pressure. Atrial stretch receptor, they have been studied in detail by Professor A.S. Pintal in 1953. Now atrial stretch receptors, they are of two types. Atrial stretch receptor with large myelinated afferent fibers and atrial stretch receptor with non-myelinated afferent fibers. Now let's understand atrial stretch receptor with large myelinated nerve fibers. Atrial stretch receptor with the large myelinated afferent fibers, they are present in the right atria as well as inside the left atria. In the right atria, they are present at the atriocaval junction and in the left atria they are present at the pulmonary veno-atrial junction. Now depending upon the discharge pattern, the atrial stretch receptors, they are of three types: type A, type B and the intermediate. Here we can see the recording of the ECG with all the waves P, Q, R, S and T waves. Here we can see the recording of discharge from the type A receptor as well as the type B receptor. Type A receptor, they discharge during the atrial systole and their impulse activity occurs during the PR interval of the ECG. So during the atrial systole, discharge from the type A atrial stretch receptor, it can be recorded. Type B receptor, they discharge in the later part of the atrial diastole, and the type B receptor discharge increases when the venous return is increased. And the intermediate type of the receptor, they discharge both during the atrial systole as well as during the diastole. Therefore, their discharge pattern is characterized by type A receptor discharge followed by type B receptor discharge. Physiological role of the atrial stretch receptors. Atrial stretch receptors, these are the low pressure receptor, and atrial stretch receptor, they are useful for the atrial reflex that control heart rate, which is also known as Bain-Bridge reflex, and the atrial reflex, it also plays a role in the control of the blood volume, that is known as volume reflex. So atrial stretch receptor, they are useful for the control of the heart rate as well as the control of the blood volume. So atrial stretch receptors, these are the low pressure receptors. Now atrial stretch receptors, they are of three types: type A, type B and intermediate. Now the atrial stretch receptor, particularly the type B receptor, they respond to change in the blood volume during the atrial diastole. So the atrial stretch receptor provide information about the circulating blood volume. So whenever venous return is more, there will be more discharge from the atrial stretch receptor, particularly the type B receptor. So atrial stretch receptor, these are the low pressure receptor and they provide information about the circulating blood volume. Atrial stretch receptors, they also play important role in the control of the heart rate as well as the control of the blood volume through the atrial reflex. Now the atrial reflex that control heart rate, it is also known as Bain-Bridge reflex. So when the infusion of the saline or the blood occurs in the experimental animal, then it increases heart rate. Infusion of the saline or the blood, it causes initial slowing of the heart rate because of the stimulation of the baroreceptor and baroreceptor mediated decrease in the heart rate. Now when this infused saline, it enters inside the atria, then it produces stretch on the atrial receptors, and stretch of the atrial receptor, it increases heart rate. Now this increase in the heart rate, it is because of the direct stimulation of the SA node which is present in the right atria. Now the direct stimulation of the SA node, it plays about 10% role in the increase in the heart rate, and remaining role it is played by the increase in the vasomotor center activity. So whenever infusion of the saline or blood occurs in the experimental animal, then it stretches the atrial musculature and atrial receptor, it increases heart rate because of the stimulation of the SA node, increase in the vasomotor center activity, and in this reflex vagus nerve, it plays important role. Now Bain-Bridge reflex, it is helpful because it prevents damming of the blood or the collection of the blood in the atria, veins as well as the pulmonary circulation. So increase in the heart rate, it pumps the excessive amount of the blood that is collected in the atria into the ventricles. So it prevents damming of the blood in our circulation. Atrial reflex, it is also helpful in the control of the circulating blood volume, and this reflex is known as volume reflex. So whenever saline or blood they are infused in the experimental animal, then it initiates Bain-Bridge reflex and the volume reflex. Now in the volume reflex, because of the stretching of the wall of the atria, it causes significant reflex dilatation of the afferent arterioles of the kidney. so glomerular filtration rate or the GFR increases. Now, along with the increase in the GFR, release of the ADH from the posterior pituitary decreases. Now, decrease in the release of the antidiuretic hormone, it decreases water reabsorption from the collecting tubules in the kidney. Now, volume reflex also increases release of the atrial natriuretic peptide and it promotes natriuresis. So, sodium and the water excretion from the kidney increases. So, all the three effects together they are helpful to control circulating blood volume and this reflex it is known as volume reflex. The left ventricular stretch receptor they play a role in the basal-Gerich reflex or coronary chemoreflex. So now let's understand coronary chemoreflex. So whenever we inject certain drugs like serotonin, veratridine or nicotine in the coronary artery supplying the left ventricle in the experimental animal, then they produce reflex apnea followed by rapid breathing, hypotension and the bradycardia. This reflex is known as coronary chemoreflex or the basal-Gerich reflex. Now physiological significance of the basal-Gerich reflex, it is uncertain, but it is speculated that persistent hypotension which is observed in the patient with the acute MI is because of the coronary chemoreflex or the basal-Gerich reflex. So in the patient with the acute MI, necrotic materials they are released from the myocardium which stimulates ventricular stretch receptor which produces reflex apnea followed by rapid breathing, hypotension and the bradycardia. So the hypotension in the patient with the acute MI, it can be because of the coronary chemoreflex. Chemoreceptor reflex, it is mediated by the chemoreceptors and they are sensitive to the change in the chemical composition of the blood like oxygen lack, carbon dioxide excess and the hydrogen ion excess in the blood. Chemoreceptors, they are located in the carotid body and in the aortic body. Carotid body, they are located at the bifurcation of the common carotid artery. They are about 1 to 2 millimeter in size and innervated by carotid sinus nerve. Aortic bodies, they are 1 to 3 in number and they are situated adjacent to the arch of aorta and innervated by aortic nerve. Now let's understand chemoreceptor reflex. So in the chemoreceptor reflex, receptors they are located in the carotid body and the aortic body. And from the carotid body and the aortic body, efferents they are carried by the glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerve and they supply this information to the higher centers, particularly to the respiratory centers, cardiac inhibitory centers and the vasomotor centers. Now the stimulus for the chemoreceptor, it is the change in the chemical composition of the blood like lack in the oxygen, carbon dioxide excess and the hydrogen ion excess. So whenever hypoxia occurs or carbon dioxide content in the blood increases, then through the respiratory center it increases respiratory rate. So chemoreceptor reflex it is helpful for the respiratory control. Chemoreceptor reflex it also play a role in the cardiovascular control mechanism because aortic body as well as the carotid body they have rich blood supply. About 2 liter per 100 gram of the tissue blood supply it is present in the carotid body as well as the aortic body. So whenever blood pressure it decreases below 80 mmHg, then it decreases oxygen supply to the carotid body and the aortic body and each causes stimulation of the respiratory center, cardiac inhibitory area and the vasomotor centers. Through the stimulation of the respiratory center, it produces hyperventilation. Because of the stimulation of the vasomotor center, it produces vasoconstriction. Release of the catecholamine, it produces tachycardia. So overall effect is mild tachycardia, vasoconstriction and increase in the cardiac output. It occurs because of the stimulation of the chemoreceptors. Baroreceptor reflex. It is helpful for the regulation of the blood pressure between 60 to 180 millimeter of mercury of mean blood pressure. Chemoreceptor reflex it plays important role in the regulation of the blood pressure in the range of 60 to 80 mmHg. So whenever blood pressure decreases below 80 mmHg, then gradually chemoreceptor reflex discharge increases, and it increases vasomotor center activity and the stimulation of the respiratory center, which produces vasoconstriction, tachycardia, and increase in the blood pressure to maintain tissue perfusion. So chemoreceptor reflex, it plays important role in the regulation of blood pressure between 60 mmHg to 80 mmHg. When mean blood pressure it decreases below 60 mmHg, then the blood pressure to CNS circulation it is maintained by CNS ischemic response, also known as last ditch stent. So whenever blood pressure it decreases less than 60 mmHg, then blood flow to the vasomotor area it decreases. CNS ischemic response is the most prominent whenever mean blood pressure is about 50 to 20 mmHg. It occurs because of decrease in the blood flow to the vasomotor area, which causes accumulation of the lactic acid and the carbon dioxide. Accumulation of the lactic acid as well as the carbon dioxide, it causes excitation of the neurons of the vasomotor centers. So the vasomotor center stimulation, it activates a strong sympathetic vasoconstrictor response, which can increase blood pressure up to 250 mmHg, and this increase in the blood pressure, it can last up to 10 minutes. So this strong stimulation of the sympathetic system, it is known as CNS ischemic response or the last ditch stand. It can maintain blood flow to the vital organs in our brain. This is the emergency arterial control system. Now understand about the Cushing reflex. To understand Cushing reflex, first understand about the Monro-Kelly doctrine, which explains relationship between all the volumes present inside the cranial cavity. Cranial cavity, it contains brain volume, arterial volume, venous volume, and the CSF, and all these volume they are always constant. So whenever one or two volume they are changed, they always change with the compensation of other two volume. So always the volume inside the cranial cavity, it is always constant, and it is known as Monro-Kelly doctrine. Now whenever intracranial lesion or intracranial mass occurs, it causes compression inside the intracranial cavity. So intracranial pressure increases. Increase in the intracranial pressure decreases the blood supply to the neural tissue. Whenever blood supply to the vasomotor area decreases, it causes strong activation of the last ditch stand or the CNS ischemic response. So because of the CNS ischemic response, it produces vasoconstriction and increase in the systemic blood pressure. Increase in the blood pressure, it stimulates baroreceptor reflex because of the stretching in the walls of the carotid sinus as well as the aortic arch. So through the baroreceptor reflex, it produces bradycardia. So in the Cushing reflex, along with the increase in the systemic blood pressure, bradycardia it is observed, and this reflex it is known as Cushing reflex. It occurs whenever intracranial lesion or the intracranial hemorrhage occurs. Now let's solve some MCQs. First MCQ, baroreceptor regulate the blood pressure in the range of. So baroreceptor they regulate the blood pressure in the range of 60 to 160 millimeter of mercury. Baroreceptor reflex true is. So baroreceptor reflex it is mediated by carotid sinus and the aortic arch. So option A is wrong. Option B states that it causes arterial vasodilatation when BP falls. So whenever BP falls, then it produces vasoconstriction because of the increase in the sympathetic discharge. Option D, it states it causes increase in the heart rate when BP increases. So whenever blood pressure increases, then it produces decrease in the heart rate because of the decrease in the sympathetic discharge. And according to option C, it causes decrease in the heart rate whenever blood pressure increases. So in the baroreceptor reflex, whenever blood pressure increases, then it decreases the sympathetic outflow, which produces decrease in the heart rate. So the answer is C. Most powerful blood pressure regulator in normal arterial pressure range. So in the normal arterial pressure range, the most powerful BP regulator mechanism is always baroreceptor reflex. Whenever blood pressure it is less than 40 millimeter of mercury, which mechanism of regulation is working? So whenever blood pressure is less than 40 mmHg, CNS ischemic response, it is helpful for the regulation of the blood pressure to the vital organs. When a person changes position from standing to the lying down, following change is seen. So when we change our posture from standing to the lying down position, at this time venous return increases. Now because of the increase in the venous return, cardiac output increases. Increase in the cardiac output increases the systolic blood pressure. Because of the increase in the blood pressure, it initiates baroreceptor reflex. So heart rates they are decreased. Now, blood flow to the brain, it is remain unchanged and blood flow at the apices of the lung increases. So from all the available option, the right answer is B. Venous return to the heart, it increases immediately. Clamping of the carotid artery above the carotid sinus, it results in. So whenever clamping of the carotid artery it is done above the carotid sinus, then it increases pressure inside the carotid sinus. Whenever carotid sinus pressure increases, then it increases discharge to the nucleus tector solitarius, which causes decrease in the sympathetic outflow. Decrease in the sympathetic outflow decreases blood pressure and decreases heart rate. So the answer is D.